time to tantalize your earbuds with creative makers and shakers. It's Creative Living, the podcast with Jane Klaus.
This is Creative Living, where we help you live your most creative life. I'm Jane Klaus. Now, on the show, we explore all things DIY, crafting, home decor, sustainable living, and whatever it is that's going to make your creative side come to life. And today, we're doing just that. We're going to talk about the magic of one of my favorite products that works so hard, you don't have to. We're going to dive into the importance of using steam when it comes to textiles and when it comes to home summer cleaning. And of course, we've got some top tips for you to keep in mind. Now, I've got some special guests from LauraStar USA. And LauraStar is a brand that is known for their exceptional steam cleaning products, as well as their top-of-the-line irons for sewing, quilting, and DIYers. We're going to find out how their innovative tools can transform your home, not just by making it sparkle, but also by creating a healthier living environment and also enhancing your creative living. So whether you're a seasoned cleaning enthusiast, a passionate DIYer, or both, this episode has something for everyone. So let's turn up the volume and let's get into the nitty-gritty of steam cleaning and creative living. Please welcome to the show from LauraStar USA, Kristen Wormers and Emily Dunlap. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having us.
It's so great to have you on the show. Now, Kristen, you're the Vice President of Operations at LauraStar USA. And Emily, you are the Business Development Manager at LauraStar. So what was the most surprising thing that each of you learned about steaming and steam cleaning when you first started at LauraStar?
Most quilters are so afraid of steam, it shrinks and distorts our fabric, but LauraStar's dry microfine steam does not do that. So really, Jane, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Getting those flat seams on my quilting is really great, and I use it for all kinds of other sewing tips too.
I love that. Okay, we're going to dive into that distortion of your fabric and your garments and your quilt projects in just a second, but I want to talk about steam cleaning first. Kristen, we talk about using steam cleaning to keep your home environment clean, especially during the summer months. Why is that important, and how does it work kind of compared to other traditional methods?
Yeah, so I think it is the opportunity right now is really being and working with non-toxic materials. We want to, not impact our environment negatively. And so using steam to clean, especially as, your kids' friends are coming over the summer and you have everybody coming and going. If you're able to clean your home without introducing those chemicals, that's even better.
Yeah, so talk about the chemical-free cleaning trend. What should homeowners know?
Well, I would tell you that, steam is so easy to use. You have water and one of our products, you can steam clean anything. Steam's expansive. It can get into any cracks and crevices. So you don't have to worry about missing anything. And then, steam can sanitize and clean surfaces, textiles, really anything throughout your home. So that's super helpful.
When I was first introduced to LauraStar, it was when we were wearing masks. And what really got me was you can hit that mask with the steam of a LauraStar iron and really get rid of like 99.9% of the bacteria or whatever was stuck in that mask, more so than something that's thrown in the washer and dryer. Is it just because of the heat of the water, the steam? Is that what's doing the disinfecting and the cleaning? I know that's a super basic question, but maybe we all don't understand.
Yeah, so our steam is almost 400 degrees. So it is roughly 386 degrees. So well above that boiling point of water. And so that steam then goes ahead and disinfects, whether it is a textile to remove COVID germs. It can kill bed bugs. It can kill clothes moths. It can kill lice, other bacteria, any germs throughout. So steam is really kind of that great catch-all, and steam also can remove up to 97% of pet dander as well.
Well, this is great because Emily, I know you said having a craft room or a home is not a home without a cat. And I agree. I used to have two little kitties that I love so much. Talk about that pet dander and the removal of their dander because of the steam. What areas of the home are best helped because of steam cleaning?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of those things in our homes that are hard to wash or hard to clean that can't be thrown in the washing machine, as we've just discussed, the water in the washing machine doesn't actually reach a high enough temperature to kill and sanitize. We see this movement of people using cold cycles anyway. So I can take that powerful steam, I can take it right to my couch. I can take it to my mattress. So those pet allergens in those favorite places of my little furry friends are really great to kill those pet allergens and dander. If I don't want to throw a quilt in the wash after every time it's on my couch with my cats, I can use that steam and sanitize and disinfect. Absolutely.
Do you have a specific, because I have a LauraStar iron, which I love. So it's an ironing board with the iron attached to it. Am I going to use that to steam clean my couch, or is there something else that you have that can do that steam cleaning in all these different areas of the house?
You can absolutely do that, Jane. The system does fold up and it can move around your home, but we know that there's the right tool for the job, and having a portable option is going to be much more convenient. So here I've got my Izzy Plus, and it is a nice portable unit that looks very similar to the Lift that we can use as well. So those are great to move around the home and reach those harder places. If I want to refresh my draperies, for example, or my couch cushion or my mattress, it comes on a very convenient steam cart, which is a great added accessory. So we have a lot of different products that can sanitize and disinfect based on whatever your needs are. So yes, you can use your system and kind of tote it around, but you might have something on your wish list, Jane.
Listen, my birthday is coming up, and maybe this is on my wish list right now. Thank you to my husband, by the way, who's listening. I love the idea of portability because, if I'm using something in my craft room and my couches that I want to clean, the whole family sits on them, or on the second floor, or up a level, like having a portable system to move around and being able to keep it clean. I don't think that we clean our couches or our curtains enough.
You don't think twice about the fact that, your couch has been exposed to pets or odors or whatever. You probably just Febreze it and move on.
Totally.
And so now with something like steam, you can very, very easily just take your steam to it, especially with the Izzy Plus. We have this great little textile guard on here, and you just easily glide over your couch, your couch cushions, or your pillows to easily remove anything that might have been in contact with it.
We're going to have the cleanest couches of all time. We're going to have the cleanest everything just because we can. I feel like it's a technology thing. Like, think about our parents and our grandparents back in the day. They did not, and they were not able to walk around with a portable steam cleaner. They had to hire somebody to come in and do it. And with innovation and technology that we have in today's world, it just helps us make things easier. Like you said, get the right tool to get the right job done, Emily, and also products that work so hard you don't have to. And that's exactly, I feel like what the entire line is doing. It's just making it easier. It's like right there at your fingertips. So why not do it?
I mean, I think something as simple as thinking about, following a recent TV appearance, right? So I went home with Izzy Plus and I steamed my entire mattress and bedroom from pretty much top to bottom. I vacuumed my mattress. I did all of those cleaning fun things and was so happy with results at the end, because not only does it remove all the ick that you don't really want to think about being near you at all times in your mattress, it also really helps remove that odor or bacteria from your body, and so that odor causing bacteria, and so just getting that clean, refreshed scent is so much nicer too.
I love it. You're like, I left a TV appearance that I was explaining how to summer clean to the audience, and you were so inspired. You went home and did it yourself.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, let's talk about where somebody should start. All right, we're hearing this, we're watching this. I want to do this. I want to be inspired to clean. What are some tips for somebody who is just getting started with their summer cleaning routine? Where do they start with steam?
Well, I wanted to actually share a pretty funny story about my grandmother, if I can, because I think it's a good example. I taught my grandmother how to quilt, something that will have dear to us for a little while, and she finally got herself a LauraStar, which I'm very proud of her. And she tells me a couple months later, she said, "You know, Emily, I've been using the LauraStar to press my sheets and my pillowcases." And I said, "Grandma, were you doing that before? Were you ironing your sheets and your pillowcases before?" And she said, "No, but it's just so easy with the LauraStar." And again, I think it's so important that we can sanitize and disinfect. And I think that your bedding is a fantastic place to start your cleaning. Okay. So whether it's your mattress and we're killing those dust mites, or if we are steaming those linens after they're coming out of the washing machine and really having a nice, fresh place to start. So that's where I would start. And I always have to, plug my grandma in there.
We love grandma. Grandma knows best. Okay. So, Emily, you're talking about quilting. You're the business development manager at LauraStar. You have a passion for quilting, which you already told us about. Talk about how LauraStar can cater to quilters and sewists. So now we're switching from, hey, I'm cleaning my house. Let's talk about the creative friends that we have here today, because I love my LauraStar and I notice it actually does keep my seams so beautifully precise and flat. So talk about the benefits that a steamer can have for quilters.
So I want to bring in a couple different points here, okay? Because as a quilter and a crafter, we really have a couple different hobbies, right, Jane? We make our projects, but we also become collectors of fabric, of tools, of notions, of thread. So we've got a couple different hobbies here, right? The LauraStar is something that makes our results better, but also makes us feel good. So I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I don't need a LauraStar because I'm not a professional." And there's so many things in our industry that we purchase and we collect and we use, not because it's going to make us money, but because it feels good and it's fun to use. So it's really important for us to bring that fun back into our sewing room. And ironing is the thing that sometimes is the least amount of fun, right? I'm at my sewing machine, I'm pushing some blocks through my machine and then I've got to take them to the ironing board and press them, and that takes forever. The LauraStar saves us a ton of time. I get a really flat press. Jane, I know you love Christmas, so I've got to hold these up. I've got these cute little gingerbread men.
Oh my gosh.
Cookies. So something as simple as making a half square triangle. I can press my seams really flat. I'm not using a tailor's clapper to set my seams. I'm not using a wool pressing mat. I'm using that powerful steam from LauraStar. It's a twice heated steam. Okay, so it's not going to spit or drip on my fabric. It's not going to shrink or distort these blocks, even those triangles. And I get a really flat seam. And I can get that with any level of LauraStar if I'm using my lift here with the regular ironing board. But what's really nice about the system that you have, Jane, and the Smart View that I have behind me, because I have that fan in the board, it's pulling that steam through the fabric. It's cooling and drying my seams. So my seams are pressed and set all at once. But really fun for me, it's taking that hot steam, which we're kind of scared about, right? But it's not a wet steam. But it's pulling that steam through the board with that fan, and it's pulling the steam away from our fingers. So everything is much more comfortable. Okay, so
Making it a lot more fun.
making it more fun and less intimidating. So I'm happy to show that to you. I'm also happy to kind of just continue talking about it.
I would love to see it. And then for all of our friends that are listening only, you can see this on our YouTube channel. But go ahead, yeah, get set up to show us. And we're going to get to garments and just steam cleaning blouses and clothes and shirts and things like that. You showed me once how quick and easy it is to steam wrinkles. Literally, we would be bringing these things to the dry cleaner. We would be hanging them in the shower. But with the steaming technology you have, whether the fans are blowing out, you're not creating wrinkles. You're pressing or you're steaming out the wrinkles.
Right. So when you have the fan, especially in blowing up, you can easily kind of, I'll call it floating your textile on top. And the steam is going to remove those wrinkles from the top. You're going to get that cool air coming up from underneath to set the wrinkle-free garment, and then you're good to go and wear it right away all day long.
We've got Emily back with her whole setup.
I'm about to show you not only the quilt block that I talked about, but I also want to show you that silk blouse, okay? So the better camera angle is okay. I'm going to try to talk out what I'm doing while I'm doing this for those of you who are not visually seeing it. But check out the steam that I have from LauraStar. This is going to be pretty loud. Okay. So Jane, you've used that steam. I've got that really powerful steam. Don't do that with any other steamer, okay? Don't steam that on your hand like I did, because it'll be a wet steam and it will burn you with any other steamer. But with the LauraStar, I've got a twice heated steam. It heats in the boiler, it travels up through the hose, and it's heated a second time as it exits the iron, okay? I've got that same powerful steam on my portable options that I can easily take anywhere in my home. But this is my Smart U, this is my top of the line. And I want to show you briefly because there is a fan built into the board. And as Kristen was just talking about, it can blow the air up or pull the air down. So I want to give you that really briefly in action. And I want to show you how powerful the steam is, because whether you are steaming garments or if you are a quilter, taking that steam to your long arm as you're removing wrinkles from your backing, this is really great. As soon as I touch the handle, that air draws down. I can change the direction of the fan. And now I've got this cushion of air that we were talking about. So that garment, that fabric is just floating for us. Okay? So really quickly, we can cover that seam.
Wow.
And those wrinkles are removed.
Oh my gosh.
Really fast. And that is the power of the steam that is found on all of our products. So that sleeve is going to be really easy as well.
Can I ask, is that work, that's what is that, a satin blouse, a silk blouse? Does it work like that on cotton and other types of materials?
So this is 100% silk, and that lightweight silk allows me to kind of float that fabric easily and have that steam go through the sleeve. If I've got a cotton shirt, I probably still want to press that, and I can do that on the board really easily. I can do a vertical steam if I want to, if I've got my portable options as well.
I love the marine steam. Now, you, prior to setting up and turning our camera angle, you were going to show us something with your quilt blocks.
This is what's really nice. Like I said, when I first was introduced to LauraStar, quilters have that notion that their steam is going to shrink or distort the fabric. But watch how close I'm going to keep my fingers to that iron. I get a really flat press really fast, okay? That fan's doing a couple different things for me in conjunction to that really powerful steam pressing that flat. So that fan is holding my fabric in place. It's cooling and drying my seams, so my seams are pressed and set all at once. I'm not turning every one of them over. But again, it's also pulling that steam away from my fingers so I can keep really close control, okay? So this is pretty fantastic. I know that we've got a lot to talk about. If you want to see some more sewing stuff, I'm happy to show you.
Sure. And if you're listening to the audio version only of this podcast, you can always watch the video and see all the demos on YouTube. Just go to DIY by Jane Klaus, and you'll see this video there. I do need to ask, I always say when I'm doing a demo, and this is just using any iron, like you do the demo, press your seams for a more professional look. And that's kind of always like my standard. Does the seam press when you're opening seams and really pressing and finalizing that seam, does it give it a more professional look because it's a higher heat?
It stays pressed, Jane. So you're right. Anytime you are making a garment, I think there's a really popular phrase that says, you know, the surest way to make a garment that looks handmade is to not press it appropriately, right? Mm-hmm. Pressing is one of those things that really makes a garment look store-bought, right? Instead of handmade. So pressing is so important. But that steam, because the steam goes through the fabric, and then the heat of the iron and the fan cools and dries that fabric, your seam is also set. Okay, so the setting aspect is really important, and that's why I've retired my tailor's clapper. I don't need to do that anymore. So there's a couple reasons for you.
Can you give us some more sewing tips and tricks?
Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you a fusible, and then I'm going to show you a quick comparison.
Great.
So I've got some fusible for applique, but if you're using fusible for interfacing for a garment, or if you're using it for embroidery, for any kind of stabilizer, or even like a bag construction, usually we are working a little harder. We're holding that iron in place, we're counting in order for that fusible to get set. But here in just a second, my fusible is totally set. It's not going anywhere. And that LauraStar powerful steam really sets that in place. And it's just amazing.
I mean, you can't see me. I was like, what? Because we're so used to having to hold it there for so long.
Yes. There was a woman in Iowa. I was at a quilt show, and she saw this, just like you, Jane. Her jaw drops, and she's like, 33 seconds. That's how long she has to wait and count and hold her iron. I said, girl, not anymore. You got a LauraStar come in.
How that was like 2 seconds?
I mean, it's just a moment. It's so fast. I usually, it's very fast.
Now, I noticed that you press the steam every time before you do it. Is that like out of habit, or are we supposed to do that?
So I'm really glad you called that out, because our steam is twice heated. And I said this earlier, I'm going to repeat it again. Our steam is twice heated. Check this out. It might beep for a second, but I've got a large capacity removable water tank. This is huge. Okay, I can take this right to the sink, and I can fill that with regular water. But that water goes into my boiler. It heats to a really high temperature and creates a really fine steam. That steam travels up through the hose, and it's heated a second time as it exits the iron. So yes, for me, it is kind of a precautionary. I always want to flush that just in case. But here's what happens. If we're chatting a little bit too long, or if I'm at my sewing machine, or maybe I'm doing some cleaning around the home and I've taken a break, that steam can cool and settle and turn into condensation. Okay. So I want to make sure I flush any potential condensation before I use it, so I have that dry steam every single time. And that's really what's going to help me prevent having those larger drops of water. That condensation, again, is just naturally going to cool and settle if I'm taking a break for something.
Amazing. I mean, I love this. I'm so excited. Okay, give us some more. You got some more?
Okay. I'm gonna show one more thing, and then I'll pass the torch.
Okay.
But I'm going to do a little comparison, because if you're making a garment, if you're doing quilt binding, if you're pressing any kind of construction, a lot of times we've got to hold our iron in place, and it's never pressed by the time it gets to the sewing machine. Okay, so with my LauraStar, I do have my steam controls on the right or left hand side, and I have the ability to control my steam. Okay, so let's pretend for a second this is a regular iron, and when I'm pressing my binding, unless we hold that iron in place, that fabric is going to pop right back up. Okay, but I can spend the same time. I can use the steam from LauraStar. And Jane, your jaw is probably dropping again, because look at the difference. I get that super nice crisp crease because I have the steam. So I think there's so many conversations in the industry, and they say, oh, well, you know what? My iron's good enough, right? I get all the things done too. You probably do. But like I said, I've retired my tailor's clapper. I've retired my bold pressing mat. I've retired my best press, because the LauraStar steam can get me these results without shrinking or distortion. And I get them so much faster and more comfortably. And it's fun again to iron with the steam.
We love fun. It's fun again. And you make it look fun too, because you hit that steam as you go right across. Yes. But you always are using steam as you go across. You know what? I just made a little fabulous pair of drapes, or curtains, I guess, a pair. I made drapes. But I used that steam for all the hemming, and it was just so great. And I'm just trying to remember if I was hitting the steam every time. Of course you are, right?
So you control the steam. So I would encourage you to always use the steam. Jane, there's only 2 situations in sewing and crafting when I'm not using steam. You know this because you've used so many different types of DIY products and notions. A lot of products are going to say, you know what, don't use steam. But they don't know what kind of steam LauraStar has. So I always recommend to test it and see for yourself. Okay. On my top of the line iron, I do have what we call one ideal temperature, and it works for almost all fabrics. If I want to lower the temperature though, we've got the Teflon nonstick protective sole plate. And I'm going to keep the steam fine and dry, but lower my plate temperature by 100 degrees. Okay. I'm not going to use steam when I'm using vinyl, but I am going to use that protective plate, and I can touch that plate right to the vinyl without melting it. I can also fuse directly to the vinyl. Okay. So again, I'm going to create some condensation if I use steam on vinyl, but since I have that plate on the bottom of my iron, I can put that directly on top of the vinyl and it's not going to melt the vinyl. So that's really impressive.
Oh my gosh, that is a jaw-dropping moment again.
Yes. Super, super fun.
You're putting it right on top of that vinyl.
Right on top of the vinyl.
Here's in the world.
So I know that nobody in your audience has rolls of squished vinyl that are creased in the drawer, right? Nobody in your audience, but maybe they've got friends who do. So tell them they can use that plate from LauraStar and they can relax the vinyl. They can use it again. If I'm making a zipper vinyl pouch that I need to turn inside out,
yeah,
I'm not going to get those creases that I sometimes get. I can warm up and manipulate that vinyl and get just a perfect project.
Could never do that with any other heating.
No.
Because it would melt. So the plate, because you showed us the plate, can you use the plate on more delicate fabrics or just really not to worry?
The whole reason for the plate is anytime you've got a question about the temperature of the fabric. So I can put the plate as is directly on the silk if I want to press it. But if I want to be a little bit more careful or cautious, it's a great way to test that first. If I've got any kind of cork or vinyl or corduroy or anything that does need a lower temperature, it's really great. The other thing I love, I can use that steam to remove wrinkles from my quilt batting. Okay, so that fuzz from the batting isn't going to stick to that Teflon plate if I put this on there, because all I need is the steam. I'm not pressing the batting. I'm just steaming those wrinkles out. So lots and lots of ways to use this product here. And
we said this 100% of the times we're only using 30% of the machine. And so this is such a great demo. Talk about this, because we all know that space and efficiency in whether it's your crafting room, your sewing room, or even your utility room where you're ironing your clothes or bigger objects or garments. Talk about the LauraStar ironing boards as well as some of the other steaming products that can help you when you have a large piece of fabric or when you're trying to put it in a smaller space.
Kristen, do you want me to take it?
You can take it.
I got it. So I love the size of our system because it's a regular size of a normal ironing board. But because I have that fan built in the board, I can have that fan blow up. I can reposition and hover a large piece of fabric or sheets or a quilt top. And so I can get my results done really quickly without smoothing out fabric on a large ironing station. So again, I save real estate in my sewing room. I get my results done really quickly. This whole board does fold up, collapse really small, and it's on wheels, so I can take it from place to place if I need to. However, our portable options, such as our Lift or our Izzy Plus, are portable with that cart. They can be used with any ironing board or steaming around. So we have options for people, whatever kind of space they've got.
Sure. And Emily, while you're setting up, and Kristen, if our friends are just listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can always see the video and all the demos on YouTube. Just go to DIY by Jane Klaus, and this episode will be right there.
Jane, this is the easiest way to get into LauraStar's powerful dry microfine steam. Okay, I've got the iron here with my iron rest. I've got that nice removable water tank, so I can use that with regular tap water as well. Again, no chemicals with the LauraStar. So it has a nice handle if I want to take it from place to place, or I can use it with that steam cart that you can see right over here. And that steam cart also has an option to raise and hang a garment, or I can just push it and wheel it around my home. So portability is really nice. I can use this with the regular ironing board. I do love the full system because it does collapse really small and is somewhat portable, but I like the results that I can get with the speed really easily with that fan built into the board.
I love the size too. Let's talk about maintenance and best practices because we want our machines to last a long time. It's all about longevity. And so, if we're a new user, what are some things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to maintenance? And then also just best practices when using any of the machines?
So our systems and our lifts, we recommend, first of all, flushing your system regularly or your lift regularly. For a lift, that looks like you just empty the water out into the sink extremely quickly. And we recommend you doing that about once a month. For the system, we have a drain plug and a drain tray that come with the system that you can empty out and flush that boiler into. We recommend using tap water on all of our systems and our lifts. And we have filters that we recommend replacing when the machine indicates on the lift. So there will be a little red flashing light that will let you know it's time to change out your filter. Or on a smart system, our crystals are regularly dark. And by the time they turn a bronze tan color, then it's time to change out your granules. So that's just regular maintenance that we recommend doing, and also making sure that prior to your first use that you also flush fresh water through your system or your lift.
Very, very important. Read the instructions. If you haven't, you're not listening right now because you're just stuck on the demos. We got to read the instructions. I want to just move into some kind of quirky and fun questions. Do you have any like kind of weird rituals or cleaning habits that you want to share with everybody? Maybe like a little cleaning hack?
So for me, my background prior to this industry is in the bedding industry. And so something I regularly do is you vacuum your mattress. So you want to get rid of those dust mites. You're going to vacuum the mattress. Now we have introduced the steam into it to kill those dust mites too. So you steam out your mattress and you let it air dry and then you vacuum it again.
I love this. I'm so glad I asked. I wasn't going to. Emily,
Yeah.
If you can invite any celebrity to help you with your next quilting project and all of the work you have to do on it, especially with your LauraStar iron, who would it be and why?
Wow.
I know.
Any celebrity. This won't be a surprise, I'm sure, to Kristen. Taylor Swift needs a LauraStar for all of her outfits on the Eras Tour. She needs to know how the steam is going to help her out. And I would just love to spend an entire quilt processed from cutting to sewing to pressing, working with Taylor Swift.
Okay, well, we're going to send her this clip and see what happens. But if you get to hang out with Taylor Swift, then I'm coming over.
Deal.
Okay. And Kristen, you're very busy as the vice president over there at LauraStar USA. When you are in that flow of steaming and cleaning and doing your thing, what is your soundtrack?
So I listen to Dave Matthews generally. So I'm Dave Matthews into Pearl Jam. That's kind of my soundtrack for cleaning. Also Green Day. I love Green Day too. So
I love Green Day.
yeah.
What is my last question for you guys? Oh, what is your reward for both of you? What's the reward when you finish a big project, whether it's a summer cleaning chore or a spring cleaning chore or a winter cleaning chore or a big, huge sewing and quilting project? What is your reward?
For me, it's a big glass of wine.
Me too.
Jane, honestly, I am a quilter and they take a lot of time to make. And I love, if I'm making that quilt for someone, I love to give that gift to them. But I think a huge reminder about anyone who's DIY or making something, we all have super busy lives and we all kind of steal time to get away into our sewing studio. So if we can have a product like LauraStar that can make our projects faster, it means that we get to give more quilts. Get to, make more things. So I think that's super important, and that reward of giving is really great.
I love to give. It's so great. And I love to receive handmade. So, and I think you probably agree with this. There's just no better gift than the gift of handmade. And so my mission is to inspire everybody to create, because even if you spend an hour making something and then you go do something the rest of the day, you have that sense of satisfaction that you made it yourself and it's creative. And then when you give that to somebody and they welcome it and love it, to me, that just fills my soul with just joy, because it's so important, because you did it yourself. Your hands did it. You did it. It came out of your mind and your being. And I think you probably agree with that.
Absolutely.
When you give a quilt away, and this is kind of like a secret poll that I take with quilters, do you want the person to use it or do you want it to hang as a piece?
So secret, I guess confession, the only ones who receive my quilts are my two nieces. Okay. I want them to use it. I have exclusively started using that super cuddly backing on quilts because those are the only quilts that my nieces reach for. Okay. So I want them to use it. If you get Sharpie marker on it, if you get nail polish on it, it just adds to the memories of the quilt.
I love it. I love it. All right. I love this story so much. I love LauraStar USA. Tell us, Kristen, how can people if they want to learn more about all your products, your product line, where can we find you? Is there a website we can go to? Can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find us online at LauraStarUS.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at LauraStar USA. We also have YouTube tutorials and product information available at LauraStar USA as well. So we can be contacted anytime, Monday through Friday, as well at our 1-800 number. We are happy to answer those calls and questions. And then we have a live chat function through our website too. So reach out. We'd love to answer your questions.
It's so much fun. And everyone should get a LauraStar, whatever they want. Of course, get all of them. Get all the LauraStars and then give them as gifts, and then make something using your LauraStar. And then you could say, I just made this using my LauraStar, and here's your LauraStar. Emily, because you are on this quilting path and doing so many fun things, where can people find you?
If you want to follow me on Instagram at Orange Cat Stitches, you can see some things that I'm doing there.
Amazing. Any last word we want to impress on our friends about the importance of steam when it comes to cleaning and or creating with your textiles?
I think give it a shot. Don't be afraid of the steam.
To Emily's point, don't be afraid of the steam.
Don't be afraid of the steam. I love it. LauraStar USA. It's Kristen Wormers and Emily Dunlap. Thank you so much for joining us on Creative Living.
Thank you for listening to Creative Living with Jane Klaus. For more creative living inspiration, just head to janeclaus.com.